such a wanker.
Every year about the same time, we just play this music. I don't know why. Is there a special day? Anyway.
All right, and welcome to another episode of the Worldwide Soccer Podcast. My name is Simon Allen. I am the Dalai Lama of soccer, eating some sweet potato fries here, doing some Gonzo radio. Next to me on my right, Alexi C.
Hi, guys.
All right, he waved, by the way, folks. He waved on radio, so just want to give him a heads up on that one. And to the left of me, Harry Tack. Harry, what's going on?
What's going on, my man? Great evening, and I just love the way you do this, man. I don't know how you do it. You do an amazing job. That's all
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Compliments will get you everywhere in this world, and it's certainly going to get you the first question. Well, listen, folks.
Oh, it's going to get stanky.
We are back at the pub here. We've sneaked in. We're doing a little bit of Gonzo radio, but don't forget that we are going to be doing this regularly on another show. Can we talk about it, Harry?
If you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter.
Let's do it.
Okay, listen, folks. Myself, Alexi C, Harry Tack, we're going to be doing Bangers and Match. Which essentially we're going to go into pubs, some restaurants, put a mic down, put a camera down, and actually go ahead and do a real proper pub-style show where we talk about football and we talk about just stuff in general when it comes to being in a pub talking about football. Like we did back in the day. What originally got me started by doing this. If you remember the whole history of Simon Allen, the Dalai Lama of soccer, it was at a pub when someone looked at me and went, "Hey, you should be on radio." Well, we're taking it a step further. Harry Tack, Alexi C. We're going to go ahead and make sure we take care of it. With that said, it's another beautiful night actually in Los Angeles. We've all pretty much got soccer up to our ears. But the biggest news in LA, lads, that finally, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is coming to the LA Galaxy. The Los Angeles Galaxy finally have their superstar player. And I really think that, as LA Galaxy fans, we're really, really, really actually very, very, very sort of nervous. Perfect.
No,
yeah,
thank you.
We were very, very...
I can have a menu, actually.
Yeah, I got a menu.
Oh, nice.
There you go. So we were very nervous about what was going on because the LA Galaxy looked like it was just a bunch of moneyball players. But Zlatan is on his way finally. Harry, what's up?
Is it done?
Yeah, it's done. It's done. It was literally done, 3 weeks ago.
Well, didn't you call it about 2 months ago?
I called it about a year ago, but then he got injured. So I called it. He got injured. He went back. Mourinho actually said this week that, hey, listen, if he wants to go, he wants to go. I don't blame him because, Manchester United have picked up some really good players that are essentially keeping him on the bench. Manchester United, when he was playing in Manchester United, last season he was, top scorer maybe? So
I don't know if he was top scorer, but he did well. He came in, he did well. He did real well.
Yeah.
He was coming in as a sub, and I think he did well. And I'm glad Mourinho got him out from his retirement talk to come back and play. And look at it now. He's coming back to the Galaxy.
Well, and I can't wait because I believe in star power. And star power will sell tickets. I personally am not worried, and I'll throw this out to you, Alexi, about his age.
Well, I think what it really boils down to is the MLS a league where people come just to, play their last heyday of professional football, or are they coming here when they still can play and they're looking to compete and make the league better? So,
that's not. Well, I'll tell you this: if he's doing that, which I pretty much can guarantee he's not, that particular guy has been sort of ousted out of Major League Soccer. The days of you coming over here and going to the beach are over. I mean, Ashley Cole came here and the first question was asked by a journalist, "Hey man, are you here for the beach or are you here, to play for the Galaxy?" And he just looked and said, "No man, I'm here to play for the Galaxy." And that was referring to the article the interview he had before he went to Roma, where he said, "Oh, are you going to go to LA?" And he goes, "No, I don't want to go to the beach." Meaning, so he came in. The first thing was like, "Hey, are you actually going to play, or are you here on holiday?" And he was like, no, I'm here to play. And last season really proved it for Ashley Cole. And I think Zlatan is absolutely here to play. Question is, he's on the tail end of his 30s, all right? Does he have gas in the tank to essentially score goals like he did when he was in Barca or when he was, at AC Milan?
Internationale.
I mean, I think it's yet to be seen. We'll see.
Right.
We don't know. Is he gonna look? Zlatan's a star, man, and he's not just a superstar on the field, but he's gonna be a superstar. And I wouldn't be shocked if he becomes such a celeb.
Yeah.
He's gonna get caught up in this Hollywood life out here.
Well, I hope not.
But
I hope not.
Look, I mean, as a celebrity, I'm not saying he's going to go out partying and be doing all. I'm saying that he's going to be not at this moment right now. Thank you, though. Give me a couple of minutes. But I think he's definitely going to end up being a superstar.
Right. Well, that's a given on the field. Yeah.
Right. That's one.
Yeah.
And the next thing is, look, he's going to score a few goals, right? But that's not the point. The point is that he's going to turn around and he's going to make a living out here.
Right.
He's going to make a change in his life.
Right.
And going back to what you said about Ashley Cole, I saw the friendly match against Man U. I think it was this past summer.
Okay.
And Ashley Cole was playing amazing.
Yeah.
He wasn't even playing like it was a friendly.
No.
And he was playing. Maybe he was playing that hard because he wanted to, show off to his buddies that he's playing against the former EPL team and all that. And he was trying to look good, but Zlatan's going to come in and he's going to do his thing, and I think he's going to do well.
Harry, I've said it before. Ashley Cole's the best left back in the league, no matter his age. People will go, well, it's Jovan Jones or whoever it was at that time, but no, Ashley Cole is, and he was the best player, I think, last season, pound for pound, at the LA Galaxy. Now, LA Galaxy has changed from last season. Obviously, Cole's still there. The back is very much cemented in. But Zlatan brings something to... Listen.
Yeah, he does, and I'll tell you what it is.
Go ahead.
What is the key strength of Zlatan? He's 6'5".
Right.
Do you reckon the MLS defenders are going to have played someone against him like that? Never.
Well, I mean, that's a good point, and I think you sort of on the page that I'm on. They're not going to listen. Zlatan.
He's a beast.
Well, Zlatan. If you named at one point the top 3 players in soccer, in the world of soccer, right? It'll be Ronaldo, Messi, and then somewhere would be Zlatan, right?
Sure.
So let's say he's the 3rd best player, at one point in the world.
Okay.
That guy's coming to play here in America. That's not a joke.
I mean, MLS is a great league. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. And bringing someone like Zlatan on board, it shows the desire that people have to bring these big names. And he, you're right. At one point in time, he was the best player, one of the best players in the planet. His goal-scoring record speaks for itself, which is the most important thing.
Right. What's his goal-scoring record then?
Oh, to be fair, I don't know on a per ratio game, but in terms of every club he's gone to, he's done very well.
Bucket loads, right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Cavani just passed him. Just passed him.
And he's scored one of the best goals in, international football, where he scored that goal against England, didn't he? Where he lobbed it.
Oh, yeah.
So, he's going to be known for
Wasn't that a bicycle kick?
It was over his,
Typical English defending, though.
So Zlatan coming here, I think, really is going to put an eye on soccer here in America. This is what we've needed here in America. I mean, listen, before David Beckham showed up, and we'll go ahead and we'll sort of cross-reference David Beckham in a minute, there really wasn't much going on in soccer in America. David Beckham actually changed that. Then we've had these sort of semi-superstars come over here, which is essentially guys like, Steven Gerrard came over here.
Well, he's a superstar, mate.
Well, he's a superstar for me.
Well, he's one of the he won the Champions League.
Yeah,
I mean,
but his time in LA wasn't as, I want to say, successful as, let's say.
Well, there you go. Was his mind set right? That's the key question.
I think. Well, actually, when I met him and I, sort of said hello and talked to him, I think his mind was here. It's just didn't know, how actually good it was over here. I think he's going to be one of those guys that's going to go down in history in America as the guy who came on holiday, but I know he kind of didn't. Lothar Matthäus came here, to end his career, right? And I remember that really well. They took him to Times Square, and they put him in the middle of Times Square and took photos of him with anyone that actually knew him. And there was this guy that walked through Times Square and said, "Oh, I want to take a photograph with this guy." And he put his hand around Lothar Matthäus, and they essentially took a photo. And the photographer said, "Hey, do you know who that is?" And the guy looked at him and goes, "I've got no effing clue." Like this. But Lothar Matthäus was the guy that you'd expect to do really well. I mean, it's Lothar Matthäus, one of the best German players around at that time. Still absolutely fantastic. He went to play for the Metro Stars. But he literally was on holiday. There were photographs of him when he should have been practicing, literally on a beach chair, sprawled out next to a pool, next to a beach, and that was like the quintessential, European guy that comes over here to retire.
But what year was that?
That was, I think, 98 or 2000 or something. It wasn't that long ago.
Really? I mean, I think I was going to ask the same thing too.
I mean,
are you sure 98?
Well, I mean, listen, I've been doing this a long time.
I know, maybe 90. He played in the World Cup 1990. He didn't play for 1994.
Yeah, but MLS has only been around since '96. So, yeah. So,
no doubt. At one point, the rivalry he had with Gascoigne in the 99 World Cup.
Gascoigne essentially trained here with DC United, and the guy who was the manager at the time said, "No, thank you very much." So,
which I find very hard to believe.
It's absolutely true. And when I interview the guy finally, I'll ask him, "Why did you do it?" But there was a reason for it.
But I mean, let's say it's a 12-year gap between when was Gerrard here?
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 seasons ago.
We're talking about at least a 15-year gap.
Oh, from good to now?
Well, I mean, look, let's talk about the MLS changed so much since then, right?
Right.
You're talking about more fans, more U.S. fans, more followers.
Knowledgeable.
You're talking about cable TV networks. Right. Everything's changed. I remember when I was in the U.S. here, in '98, you'd have to find a TV station to watch soccer. You'd have to really search, and not everyone had. You'd barely find soccer games.
Listen, when I was 17, 18, when I came over here, I literally had to go to the Mexican neighborhoods to watch Mexican soccer. And on top of that, I had to go to a pub, sneak in, because the guys at the pubs would bring in videotapes from England. They'll get mailed in, okay, and watch it, and watch the actual videotapes. So,
you know what I find strange talking about?
Water.
I done my ship.
Oh,
Another server.
Okay, mate.
Thank you so much.
You know what I find really strange?
Yeah, thank you very much.
What I find really strange is talking about Lothar Matthäus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone knows the Germans are
awesome.
But he's the only German to have ever won the FIFA World Player of the Year, which I find quite strange, because if Germany's producing all these teams that are basically thumping everyone in the World Cups, how is it that their star players, don't sort of perform at that level in the regular season, such that people expect them to be winning those types of titles?
I mean, Julian Draxler's doing really good right now. I mean, for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, but Messi and Ronaldo are not going to get knocked off that perch anytime soon.
Well, I mean, that's an individual.
Harry Kane's going to do it, though. Come on, Tottenham.
Or Mo Salah.
Listen, that's why Germany is a team, and that's why they win. They play together as a team. They might not have one or two amazing superstars, but that's the whole point. When they get together, they play tough, man. They play tough, and they're a team. And
Bastian Schweinsteiger was here last season. I have to meet him. He's the greatest guy in the world, right?
He played for Man U as well.
Right, he played for Manchester United, right? So, and I think he had a good maybe first 5 or 6 games. People can email me at simonalsoccer@yahoo.com and remind me or tell me. He had a good 5 or 6 or 6. Then suddenly it was like, it was a bit more tough than he expected it. I don't expect this with Zlatan. I expect Zlatan to come and say, listen, this is not a great sending off he's having from Manchester United. Jose Mourinho's not sending him off with wreaths and freaking, flowers and stuff like that. He's saying, just go. I've already bought players to replace you. So this could be his final sort of hello, I am still the greatest. I'm going to win a title over here in America. Yeah. I'm going to win on 2 continents.
He is.
Blah, blah, this and that.
When I heard he was retiring, or he was, entertaining the possibility of retire, I couldn't believe it, because I think he's in incredible shape unless he keeps on getting injured.
That's the problem.
Because it's the age, right?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But
I'd rather be injured in America, because at the end of the day, that's going to be something where the doctors here are a little bit better. I mean, we all know European cyclists come to Colorado to get their training.
Do you? Let me just jump in. Do you think
Thank you, box very good. Thank you.
other Premier League teams missed out on trying to see if he could play for them for a season?
100%.
Because I'll tell you
They
this.
could use him.
Chelsea just bought Giroud.
Right.
Giroud, yeah, he's a French, yeah, whatever. And
Should have got Deco, but he's not
well,
there.
no, I mean he's a tall guy.
Yeah.
Tottenham, got that Llorente out front.
Mm-hmm.
You got Luka is a pretty big guy.
Well, Alexi, which team, like right now, would not jump at a chance to pick up?
Yeah.
100%.
Would West Bromwich Albion?
Maybe
Cole?
their game style wouldn't suit him.
No, but I mean, if someone said, "Hey, West Brom," guess what?
Madrid can use him. Real Madrid can use him.
We should talk about the biggest charity manager of all, Zinedine Zidane, absolutely bottling it in Real at Real Madrid. But I want to talk about another Galactico. Okay, so I want to segue into another Galactico, another Galaxian, another guy from Manchester United, and probably the savior of American soccer. And quite honestly, I don't even care at this point that all my listeners say I have a man crush on him. I don't really care. It's DB23, David Beckham. And this week, okay, it was finally after about 5 years. It seems like 100 years. They had the announcement. Thank you very much. They had the announcement that Miami's happening. So MLS Miami's happening.
How about you, boss?
And it's going to be amazing. The amount of people that who's got involved are amazing. It's an amazing group of like multi-billionaires. And the first thing, it was an amazing event because Miami is not really known as a soccer city. All the Miami teams really in the history of American soccer haven't done well in Miami, whether it's the Fusion or going back to whoever. And you can email me at simonalsoccer@yahoo.com if you disagree. But the first video that came out afterwards was a very sort of mystic.
Well, what about the Miami Dolphins?
It's an American football team, and they don't really get too many people watching them. And the Marlins too. We actually I've done shows in the past like how Miami's not it, and I even said 10 years ago the only person that's going to get a sports, like a very nonchalant sport fan to go to any kind of soccer match or any sports match would be someone like David Beckham. And flash forward 10 years, and it's David Beckham's doing it. The thing is, there was an immediate ripple in the sort of soccer universe when that happened. David Beckham announces that that Miami's going to be a team. We don't know the name. I'm hoping it's Miami Posh or something. All right.
Nice one.
Messi comes out on a video and says, "Yeah, I don't know, maybe I can play in Miami." This was like hours after the announcement of a Miami team.
All these celebrities send him videos congratulating him and all that.
But it was the weirdest thing to
Smith,
see.
everyone.
Yeah. The weirdest thing to see. The Messi goes, "Yeah, I could see myself playing in Miami." So already, the idea of David Beckham absolutely revolutionizing American soccer again is happening, and the team hasn't even been formed. On top of that, David Beckham goes out and says, "I really want Zlatan to stay at Manchester United. I don't want him to go to LA Galaxy. He's still got enough chops to go actually play in the Premier League," which everyone sort of jumps on and says he wants him to play one more year in the Premier League so he can pick him up for Miami, which I thought was really interesting. So already there's more buzz about a team that doesn't exist in America, and pretty much, let's say, teams like the Columbus Crew or Colorado Rapids. So let's talk about the cult of personality here. All right?
No, well, that's what I was going to say to you. Do you think Zlatan's personality is going to be beneficial to the team?
Yeah.
Or it will somehow...
It's entertainment, buddy. All the goals, the style he scores.
He's quite aggressive. He's usually aggressive with his own teammates. I mean, do these American players...
It's something you're bringing a different...
I'm just saying, will they be able to handle it? That's the key question. Can they handle his personality?
Do the American players know how to handle a superstar?
Well, a superstar who's happy to shoot his gun.
It doesn't matter. Sometimes we need a shake-up, and I think that's what U.S. soccer needs right
And I
now.
also think he's 36 years old. He's not 25-year-old Zlatan. He's got.
He's still a beast.
He's not stupid Zlatan. He's like a smart guy.
Is he coming in March? Is he going to play in March?
He'll be playing in the beginning of the season.
We'll see it in a couple of months.
I think so, but I think the idea is that if he comes in as dumbass 23-year-old Zlatan, he's going to fail. becomes as mature yet still good as Zlatan, then LA's got a chance to win the title.
Yeah.
You know, and then next year with Miami, I mean, it's like almost like a who's who of what could happen in Miami.
I love everything that's happening. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but like imagine if Messi is saying, "Hey man, I want to play in Miami," right? Then who knows who else the reach of David Beckham can get. I mean, look at anyone who's got a contract that's out of a contract by the end of the summer, right? They're gonna have a great World Cup. They're gonna go somewhere else. But someone else doesn't have a great World Cup but was once good might end up looking to Miami and going, "Well, it's near Europe.
Yeah.
I don't have to fly halfway around the world. I can just fly a little bit around the world. I'm going to Miami." So I think
a lot of people from Britain come out to Orlando and
All the
Florida,
time.
right? To vacation all the time, right?
There's a big population there.
yeah, huge.
And in the 70s, all the football players from England actually came to America to play, and a lot of them just sort of stayed in Florida.
Yeah.
They're still there, you know.
Look, I think U.S. soccer needs it in general, not just the MLS, but U.S. soccer. We need Zlatan's entertainment. We're going to see some great goals. I think it's going to boost levels from entertainment to everything. It's gonna take us to another level. And then we're talking about David Beckham. That's a brand, dude. We're talking about a brand.
Yeah.
The guy's a brand in himself, and that's what's going to attract people out here is a brand like him.
So so let's ask. You see, everyone's talking about one guy, but who's the next guy that's going to come down? You know,
Ronaldo.
let's take some views from
Cristiano.
from your punters.
You don't think so?
No,
I
mean-
think he'll come out.
No, right? Not how old? If no, he'll be
No, I don't
36
see
years
it.
old. So he's
He's going to play till he's 70, so he'll come when he's 71.
Right. Yeah. By then, everyone's going to be playing.
No, I think he'll come out.
No,
He likes that.
I think in the next 2 years, when Miami comes out, and this is the genius of Major League Soccer. They know that if they have a team in Orlando and a team in Miami, it's instant rivalry. It's like Everton and Liverpool, right?
I'll tell you what I've always wanted.
Go ahead.
This is like a vision that I have. Messi and Ronaldo on the same team together.
Miami. Good. You heard it here, folks. Miami.
Because I mean, you're talking about two great players. I mean, they've been rivals forever. I mean, since Ronaldo moved to Madrid.
Yeah.
But how cool would it be to have a Messi and a Ronaldo?
I think it's going to
on
happen
one
in
team?
Miami. I think it'll happen in Miami.
And
Can they afford it?
I think the billionaires that are on the I think they can do
I
it.
know, but there's a wage cap, isn't there?
Yeah, but there's ways to get around it.
sponsorship.
You get-
Man.
you
I
get-
mean, I think
yeah.
sponsorship money.
You can be a designated player.
it's-
I mean, listen. If Messi and I just don't think that anyone has not thought about this. You know, if Messi and Ronaldo play for any team, Preston North End, Elephant and Castle, you know, the worst team in Saudi Arabia, that team now becomes the best team in the world, and it also becomes the most watched team in the world.
Yeah, but the other day an article came out where, Lionel Messi was saying why it's difficult, to potentially be a friend with Cristiano Ronaldo. So there's always, these things happening in the background. Do I think they'll play well together? Maybe they'll be more concerned about trying to outshine each other than focusing on the game.
Well, Klinsmann never liked Maradona, but they kissed and made up later on. I mean, it's going to happen. They thank each other, and they've been.
Peter Shilton came out and said, "I forgive Maradona for the hand of God," after 30 years. So I mean, and also you can really like I don't think everyone liked George best, right? But they still played with him. Okay. So I think that's not going to be an issue if someone's like, "Here's a ton of money, go revolutionize American soccer, and do that." With that said, we're having a great time here. We're having food. We're having drinks. I'm going to give you guys, this is the segment's over, I'm going to give you guys the last word. All right? You can say, in 2 minutes, you can say whatever you want about football, and we'll go from there. Alexi, I'll put you on the spot. 2 minutes.
Spurs v Man U, what a great game it was today. Tottenham dominated an old foe. I think we've beaten them now 3 times in a row at White Hart Lane. Granted, it was at Wembley. And it was the highest ever Premier League turnout. Only Tottenham fans can do that.
The biggest stadium in the...
Yeah, well, you got to fill it. You got to fill it. But I think now Arsenal, I don't see them challenging. Chelsea losing 3-0. at home, that's a ridiculous
That was really
scoreline.
bad, yeah.
But it's all about the defense. I'm a guy who focuses on the defense. I was just talking to my friend Harry here, asking him about what the breakdown of what he thought Peter Cech's own goal. I didn't think it was his fault really. When you break it down, obviously he's the guy that messed up. However, there's so many things happening on a football team that it's hard to pinpoint. But anyway, it's a great EPL again. Best league in the world, no doubt about it.
All right, that's Alexi. See, go ahead, Harry Tack.
I said it last week and I'll say it again. There's going to be a shake-up from, I think, in the EPL top 6. And we saw it. We saw Chelsea lose today. We saw what Tottenham did to Man U. I can't wait till next week's game with Tottenham and Liverpool. I said it that, if Tottenham want to be in top 4 or even get into second or third, they're going to need to beat Liverpool at Anfield. You guys said that historically, stats say that Liverpool will beat them. Fine, sure, we'll see what happens. Then we're talking about a shake-up in Madrid with Zlatan, being kicked out. We'll see what happens with that. Going back to Bangers and Match, look, that's going to be exciting. I can't wait to do that show with you guys and enjoy some good food, some good drinks, go to these pubs, these bars, and just eat some good food and get to know a bunch of different fans from different teams. And we'll be doing weekly, we will be working on weekly matchups.
Wow, shamelessly plugging future shows. Well done, Harry Tack. A bit disappointed in you, Alexi, for not plugging anything.
Do it.
There's a lot of different things I plug now.
It's a family show.
You heard it here.
I'm just saying it here.
You heard it here.
Folks, my name is Simon Allen. I am the Dalai Lama of soccer. The first part of the show is complete. Stay tuned for the second half. To my right, Alexi C. To my left, Harry Tack.
Cheers.
Alrighty, folks. Simon Allen here, back from the pub, and part 2 of the show is we're going to talk about some Scottish football, shall we? But not just Scottish current football. Let's talk about a club. Let's talk about a very kind of famous club that, if you weren't really a big Scotland football guy or you weren't a Scottish, football league guy, you wouldn't know about. And there's a connection. So I want to talk about a club by the name of Dundee United. Dundee United were very storied history, obviously. Very, it goes back, a zillion years. But I want to talk about the time in, I think, 1967, okay? And Dundee United was led by a manager who was essentially, I think, probably one of the better managers, I think, that Dundee United has ever had, by the name of Jerry Kerr. Jerry Kerr essentially played for Dundee United in pretty much most of the 40s, all right? And when he sort of retired, and he ended up retiring like in the early 50s. He ended up going around 1959, yes, a million years ago, to Dundee United to become their head coach. And during that time, he essentially was the coach from 59 to about 71, when around 72 he left. Not a shabby sort of run for Scottish coaches at any period of time, but he was a very sort of a smart coach. In 1966, 67, I'm trying to remember, they came in like in 9th place in the league, and also in around that time, I think a year later they would go 10th. So not necessarily a great squad, to say the least, but it was a squad that could compete, and you can go into the record books and see how well they did it. Never been really much until the time they won the Scottish league with Sir Alex Ferguson. Back then he wasn't Sir. What happened was, with that, they got a chance to go, and this was, I think, in 83, 84, they got a chance to go to the European Cup, which was essentially the Champions League at the time. Let's just call it the European Cup. Let's go the Champions League. All right, and everyone knows the 83, 84 Champions League was essentially won by Liverpool. It was a classic. You can go back to a couple of the interviews I've done with some of the classic players. But at that point, Dundee United were there, and their first game was against this team from Malta, and they absolutely, I think, trounced them. It wasn't really anything to be of note. at, I forget even I'm not even sure where the stadium was in the first leg. It was a 3-0 drubbing, and then after that, it was just more of the same at Tannadice. So literally 6-0 with a guy by the name of and I forget if it was Ralph or something, Ralph Milner, who really was one of the better players I would imagine at that point, who had really started his own. I mean, he literally became a better player at Dundee. Ended up moving. Ended up, I think, really just ending his proper career in the late 80s with Manchester, or early 90s with Manchester United. Nothing. I mean, history books won't be written about it, but at the end of the day, there you have a guy who made his name in Europe, pretty much, and then went over to the England and made a name for himself there. After playing against the Maltese team, they were essentially they had, obviously, it's the Champions League or European Cup. They had to go ahead and face a little bit more tougher competition. This was the highlight of, I think, any Dundee United fan. They played Standard Liège, and in the first leg at Tannadice, Milner came up with a double, and they beat them 4-0. On the second leg, forgot what it was, but it was it 4-0? Anyway, it was 4-0 in the second leg. I apologize, and then and I forget what happened in the first leg, but I think it was a 0-0 or something like that. But they beat them 4-0, and then getting to the quarterfinals, it was a little bit more tough. At that point, they were playing a very good Rapid Vienna team. The Rapid Vienna team had some pretty decent players at the time, and as they went on, a guy by the name of Zlatko Kranjčar, who I think probably one of Yugoslavia's better players, and if you look him up, he's a great player for Yugoslavia at the time. He was one of the only. Well, I should say one of the only. He ended up playing for Yugoslavia in, I think, from like the late 70s to the early 80s, and then ended up playing a couple of matches for Croatia at the time, later on, just as one of those things he had to do. But he went on to coach a lot of fantastic teams, and he made a career for himself. He actually went to Iran at one point and did, I think, 3 or 4 teams, or at least 2 teams. But that was a very, very good match against a very good Rapid Vienna team, and the quarterfinals were very exciting. It was the first leg was essentially 2-1 to Rapid Vienna in Gerard Hanapi Stadion in Vienna. No more. Is Arnold Schwarzenegger Stadium still there? Anyway, and then coming back to Tannadice, it was 1-0, and that's all they really needed to get through. And the semifinals, and here's the funny thing: the semifinals of the 83-84 European Cup was pretty much amazing. It was a legendary Liverpool team against Dynamo Bucharest, and Dundee United against Roma. We all know what happened to Liverpool, all right? I guess we all know what happened to Roma too. But Dundee United were actually 2-0 up at Tannadice. And, this was, I think, early April, and there was some good football. And when they got literally back, when they went to Stadio Olimpico in Rome, I think it was like 13, 14, 2 weeks later, let's say, they got trounced 3-0. So if history was a bit more, I want to say, kinder to Dundee United, it would have been a Liverpool-Dundee United European Cup final in 1984. Stevie Nicol probably, with all due respect, probably would have missed the first goal. But who knows? It could have been none of these guys, the Contis and the Grazianis of the world, probably wouldn't be as famous as they are today if Dundee United had beaten Roma. And that's, I think, one of their claim to fame was that. And then going in again, back in 67, we're going to have to sort of go back to 67. Jerry Kerr had a very bright idea, okay? And it was essentially to help, or at least help the team practice by joining up the United Soccer Association in America. The United Soccer Association was a professional soccer league in the United States, and that later on merged with the NPSL to form the NASL in '68. But at that point in time, it was two leagues, and the United Soccer Association pretty much picked up teams from around the world and said, you come to this city and play. Because what had happened in 1966, people had figured out that, oh my goodness, this World Cup thing is really fun and people are watching. Let's go ahead and take care of this. Let's go bring some. But there were no players, there were no teams. And who wanted to watch a bunch of Americans play when you can watch, Scottish players play and Brazilian players play? Isn't that pretty much how it is now, right? So the folks in Dallas, who were essentially in the Cotton Bowl area, they had the Cotton Bowl there, and a guy maybe that you've heard of him, a guy by the name of Lamar Hunt, said, you know what, maybe we can just pick up Dundee United, bring him to Dallas, and have him play the other teams. I mean, there was Houston had a team. And the owner of the Houston Astros said, well, I can fill up my stadium if I have some Brazilians and Bangu FC. Or was it Bangu AC? I forget. Atletico Club Bangu. I'm not sure. You have to email me at simonallensoccer@yahoo.com. So there was Hibs came to town in Toronto. Aberdeen were in Washington. And, Wolverhampton Wanderers, I know this because I'm in LA, became the Los Angeles Wolves. They played it at the Los Angeles Coliseum, and in that year, the Los Angeles Wolves became American champions. So you can probably say, has a foreign club ever become a champion of another country's league? Yeah, I would say that could probably be a very good trivia question. But there was an Italian club, there was a Dutch club, but Dundee United went to Dallas, became the Dallas Tornadoes, and they had not a very good year, to be honest with you. In '67, they didn't qualify for the playoffs. They were 6th in the Western Division. And for whatever it's worth, it wasn't great. But the guys on the team, they were practicing in the summer when they needed to. And they came to essentially reap the rewards of American money, as you do. I'm trying to think of guys' names that were there, who you could sort of look up and see who was. Billy Haney, for example, comes to mind, but Dennis Gillespie comes to mind. I mean, Dennis Gillespie, not a household name probably around the world, but, look him up, I guess. For whatever it's worth, they did what they needed to do. And Dallas became sort of the home of Dundee United for at least 1 year, and then another year, but it was not really the same. It was another team completely. So that year was very sort of weird in American soccer. You would be rooting for your home team, knowing full well that they're not really from your hometown. And that's sort of the Dundee United history. And I'm sure there's more of it, but you might be saying, well, what has that got to do with the price of apples in Washington State or something? The thing is, the history of Dundee United and the United States kind of goes back to '67. And the history, they have a kind of a good history in Scotland. They just don't have really much going on here. We don't really know about them. So this is called a segue. This week, Dundee United chairman Stephen Thompson essentially stepped down, or will be stepping down at the end of the season. But more importantly, Dundee United is going to essentially set up a £3 million sister club in the United States of America. Right? Mainly, now let's go back to this. Stephen Thompson, all right, is going to be chairman of that sister club, which happens to be, or may be going to be, in the NISA, the professional third division in the United States. Dundee United are forging plans to establish a lucrative, new sister club in the United States. On Wednesday night, Stephen Thompson confirmed he will step down from his position at Tannadice chairman at the end of the season. And Sports Mail understands, that's probably... we're all sports males unless you're a sports female, but anyway. Or wait, I don't know. Understand that the club's majority shareholder now intends to spearhead a £3 million bid to enter an umbrella club in a newly formed National Independent Soccer Association. Again, this is the third division, folks, professional third division. We'll talk about this. The NISA, we think we've talked about this before, is essentially, let's talk about is an umbrella in the newly formed NISA. This is established by former Chicago Fire Chief Peter Wilt, who's listened to the show, I'm sure, and I've talked to him before, so that's not NISA plans to establish itself as the third tier of the United States Soccer Federation below Major League Soccer and the United Soccer League, linked with a £2.5 million takeover of Australian club Newcastle Jets in 2015. Thompson has now switched his focus to American cities with high populations and no professional soccer clubs after a number of fact-finding trips to the States. Interesting. Okay. A director of Club 9 Sports, the Chicago sports consultancy, previously involved in a bid for Rangers, Peter Wilt, on Wednesday night declined to comment when Sports Mail asked him to confirm Thompson's ambitious blueprint for a team in NISA. Okay, announcing an end to his 10 years of Tannadice chairman, Thompson said, "It has been a real honor to serve Dundee United. I've always tried to achieve the best for the club, and there have been many, many, many happy occasions of which I am proud of. The Scottish Cup win in 2010, oh, sorry, there you go, learn something new, was a high point in my and many other United fans' life. Of course it was. Relegation was a profound disappointment that will never leave me, but the club is in a fortunate position of having a very strong board of directors and financial robustness that is assisted by a number of benefactors who have been very supportive through recent years. Dundee United director Mike Martin is expected to become the club's new chairman, blah, blah, blah. United are currently in the second season of the championship, sitting second, 11 points behind St. Mirren." Okay, so there you have a bit of, again, it's not history repeating itself. Dundee United aren't going to come and play anywhere. But the question does arise, what is, where are they going to play? What are they going to do? I mean, and I'll be very honest with you. I really want to get to know what, your idea of a professional third division is. I'm going to eventually talk to Peter Wilt because, we've got a few mutual friends here, and I've talked to him online and so on and so forth. But I kind of want to know who out there is clamoring to watch third division football in America in droves, and who is really, who is at arms. Like, why aren't these guys being paid? Because, granted, having a sister club, Dundee United sister club, is very good. I mean, you'd expect that. You kind of say, well, second division club from Scotland, third division club in America, and then they send their academy players over here. It kind of makes sense, right? I mean, it's a good business decision. Or if they're playing summer ball, for example, the decision to bring some of their, players that want to continue or they've been injured throughout the regular season, they want to bring it. Or, if the schedule changes, like the NASL changes it to a more European schedule, who knows? I mean, this is NISA. That's a really good business decision for Dundee United, in my opinion, because quite honestly, you can send players that, you really can't cut it and have them play competitively, and then you can come and poach players over here. Why not? It's second division Scottish football. But again, where is the outcry for third division football in America? I just don't see it. And I'd really like to do more. I'd like to get some people to sort of email me at simonallensoccer@yahoo.com. Yes, there's a historical sort of precedent here in America. Dallas Tornado, 1967. It was good stuff. Maybe, the chairman literally harkened back to that and went, yeah, it's a good idea. We should try it again. And this was a great opportunity. And then, for example, let's talk about the NISA. NISA came out, I think, a couple of months ago. I don't know, my dates might be off here. And said, yeah, there are no franchise fees here. The National Independent Soccer Association, no, sorry. No, we can do it. And literally there's, 6 teams, 7 teams? Charlotte FC, Chattanooga FC, is it Tennessee, North Carolina, Connecticut, Miami United, Milwaukee, Omaha, St. Louis. Oh yeah, this is mostly on, I want to say, the other side of America. I'm in LA, so it's mostly on that side. Where is Dundee United going to be sort of placed? Are they going to get prime location, New York? Is someone going to actually venture out west? I mean, there was a rush once, and everyone went to find gold in San Francisco, but maybe you can do that. I'm not sure. But where is it going to be? And quite honestly, let's look at. I literally have a problem with Miami United FC. That's going to be very difficult. I mean, they've been around, I think, for like 6 years now, and I haven't talked about them once, and I haven't had anyone talk. So maybe they're going to need to really sort of step it up, and to compete with, again, next year is going to be very difficult. Why watch a third division club when, dude, there's a guy by the name of David Beckham we just talked about. I mean, so that is not an serviced area right there. But Omaha, yeah, St. Louis. People have been saying that St. Louis is the spiritual home of soccer. I don't see it yet. Sorry, St. Louis. But Chattanooga, all right. Let's see what happens. Is this what the third division is going to look like? Is a bunch of folks who are going to just come in from different clubs, and that's been. I mean, I think I don't mind that whatsoever. But is this a step in the direction? Yeah, okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Dundee United. I mean, I'm hoping it's a United team. It's not an FC, but maybe it's a I hope it's not a Dundee United of South Carolina or something like that. I hope it's something closer. So we'll see what happens. I've been saying for about a year now, I want to get Peter Wilt on the show, maybe talk about more about Chicago, what he did over there. And he did wonders over there, by the way, so I don't expect anything but excellence from the NISA. But we'll see. Good news. And by the way, if you're, I'm not even sure, but if you're interested in this kind of stuff, you should go ahead and get the club, get the fan club out right now. I mean, it could very well be a repeat of 1967, where it could be half the Dundee United squad. Email me at simonallensoccer@yahoo.com, simonallensoccer@yahoo.com, and why don't you tell me what you think? Folks, you can also be my friend on Facebook, Simon Allen Soccer Radio, and obviously, you're probably on the website, simonallensoccer.com, and you can be my friend on. You can follow me on Twitter, which is, I'm not Instagramming, by the way. Who wants to see me? You listen to my voice? What? I'm like the band XTC, but the other way around. Or maybe it is exactly like it. They just produce albums that don't go on tour. But you can follow me on Twitter at Dalai Lama Soccer. What do you think? Email me. Okay, folks. Before I end the show, which is I want to go back to what we were talking about in the pub, which is MLS and David Beckham and the Miami team, which, again, you're not hearing it in my voice, but absolutely excited about it. One of the things we didn't sort of talk about was the ownership group. Obviously, David Beckham, all right, who is a brand juggernaut, like we talked about. And again, this is a guy that's, going to fill stadiums no matter where he is, okay? His agent is a guy by the name of Simon Fuller. Simon Fuller is also one of the owners. Simon Fuller is, pretty much the owner of an entertainment agency. He's a television producer, film producer. He's probably one of the biggest sort of pop culture behind the scenes guys that you're ever going to meet. And he has got a ton of money. All right? So it's, if you like Carrie Underwood, Simon Fuller's behind that. If you like the Spice Girls, if you are a fan of Andy Murray, Simon Fuller. I mean, if Simon Fuller was, a friend of mine, I would probably not be doing a podcast. I'd probably be on, Universal TV, where people in Mars could probably pick me up. That's how big he is when it comes to essentially just general sort of footballing and entertainment value. There's a Bolivian guy by the name of Marcelo, and I got to tell you right now, he's another entrepreneur. He's an executive of the Sprint Corporation. He's a co-founder of a group called the Bright Star Corp, the Bright Star Corporation. They're essentially a wireless telecommunications company, which you can bet that wherever the stadium is made, or whatever happened, it's going to be in the forefront of wireless telecommunications, that you're not going to have to worry about things like that. The other guy in there, the other two folks are Jorge and Jose Mas, who are essentially the bigwigs at Mastech, which is it's a publicly traded engineering company, multinational, with revenues of, I think, right about $4 billion. So again, not a shabby person to have, two guys to have around, and the guy, the person who was introduced via at that particular event via television, Masayoshi Son, who for whatever it's worth, went to school in America, is born in Japan, lives in Tokyo. He is the CEO of SoftBank. Now, SoftBank is a multinational telecommunications corporation. All right. Now, you might think it's a bank, but I don't know. It's a huge publicly traded company with, I want to say, 8.9 trillion yen, you have to do the math on that one, of revenue per year. This is not I'm not even sure what the SoftBank is, okay? But I believe it's like, again, telecommunications, whereas digital television, media, and so on and so forth. This is going to be a heavy-driven media company. These guys who are in it aren't hot dog salesmen and, movie stars and whatever. These guys are titans of new industry. All right? No offense to anyone out there who's an owner. I'd love to get you on. But these are the 4 or 5 guys that I'll be like, wow, these are the kind of guys you want. I've been talking about, oil sheiks coming in, but these are the guys. All right? And once again, I have to say, I am looking forward to it. It's not just David Beckham put his name out there and get, good. It is the lock, stock, and barrel, the best ownership group, I think, when it comes to new media, when it comes to PR, when it comes to everything. I mean, even with David Beckham. I mean, it's just, we talked about it where he's already got guys like Messi saying, oh, where am I going? So it's going to be an amazing thing. I cannot wait. But I want to end the show with Hope Solo. All right? No secret that there's, it's coming up. I mean, we're literally in February. There's going to be a, election for the new U.S. soccer president. Who it's going to be, I have no idea. Carl Martino got a written endorsement from David Beckham, and suddenly he's in the running, and I love it. I love the whole. I'm surprised that there isn't a sort of an air of romance or an air of, I don't know, like a soap opera to this thing, but it's a very serious thing, and people are talking about it. But Hope Solo this week essentially filed a complaint against the U.S. Soccer Federation. So the 36-year-old Women's World Cup winner has filed a legal complaint against the USSF, despite announcing she was running for president. Solo has called on the U.S. Olympic Committee, the USOC, to act. Hope Solo said, U.S. soccer has become blinded to its fundamental obligation to develop soccer in America because of the power, prestige, status, and money flowing from Federation's alliance with Major League Soccer and Soccer United marketing. The USSF's priority has become protecting and building the MLS at the expense of our youth, the women's game, and our place in the global game. Okay, Solo has earned 202 caps. We all know this, but she has not played, blah, blah, blah. We know this. She issued her complaint in to USOC on Tuesday on the grounds that the USSF was in blatant violation of the Ted Stevens Olympic and Amateur Sports Act. The act, established in 1978 and revised in 1998, provides legal protection for U.S. athletes. I joined the USSF presidential race because I can no longer watch USSF sidestep its responsibility to the people it was created to serve, Solo added in a statement. As a player, I experienced the USSF's profit before progress approach for more than 20 years. The campaign that has made me actually aware of the USSF's conflict of interests and other governance transgressions are so alarming that we can't wait for the results of the presidential election to take action. The election for the new president, blah, 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 10th of February, just around the corner, actually. So listen, what the hell is this? I find this very interesting. So the people that you want to be president, you want to be president of this organization, albeit a weird one or whatever, you're suing or you're taking to court. Now, I think it's either craziness that Americans love. It's like that crazy, like, oh, I'm going to, if I'm not going to win, I'm going to burn it down and make it better. I'm going to rebuild it from the outside. Okay, I get it. Actually, I love it. I love it. If let's say Eric Ronaldo becomes president and this gets any sort of traction whatsoever, then Hope Solo can do what she needs to do and not be president of U.S. soccer, which is fine. I mean, you can sort of say what a dedicated person she is. And by the way, if Hope Solo's listening, I've been trying. The mic is open, Hope. I will give you this mic to talk at any time. I've been wanting to do that to get you on the as a player to come on. I wanted to have that, but now even more so. Now I'm fascinated by the passion for U.S. soccer that Hope Solo has. I'd have her on every week, so I can see it. I'm trying to think to myself like, so if you don't make it as the president, you want to go ahead and absolutely, no matter what happens, get that change going, whether it means absolutely destroying it, which a lot of people have been talking about. You can go online and say, we've got to completely gut U.S. soccer and start all over again. Okay, fine. I mean, it's not a radical thing. People are talking about it. People are wanting it. If this is the approach, then I say, okay, you're definitely going to serve a lot of people. You're definitely going to make a lot of people happy by absolutely raising it to the ground and making it brand new from the ground floor up. We're going to go back to, again, I mean, U.S. soccer has been on the ground floor. Soccer in America has been on the ground floor for years. It's never gone. I mean, it's never really gone up to the second floor in sort of the scheme of things. So why not? But then on the flip side, I'm like, why would you sue the folks or take them to court, the folks that you want to join right before the election? And I think it's either desperation, like, hey man, this is what I need to do. I need to do it, which now that I say it out loud, I don't really think I want it. I don't think I want to take that back. Or the second choice I was going to make was, it is a kind of a genius move for someone sort of not really expected to get many votes. Think about it. Your folks on the outside who are voting, whether it's, whoever it is, are going to look at this and go, damn, this woman is dedicated. If she is doing this because she knows she might not win or she's not going to win, and she wants to go ahead and do it after the election anyway, essentially tear down U.S. soccer and start all over again. Imagine what she can do if she's in the inside or working from the inside. Imagine what she can do with all the power of U.S. soccer. And I think, and again, I'm going to walk the other one back. It's not craziness or desperation. I think it might be a stroke of genius. I think someone's really saying, listen, show them that you are going to be the president of the people, that it's not going to be business as usual. For a moment, I thought, wow, it's nuts. That's nuts. What are you doing? It's going to make you look bad. I think for the average soccer fan that just sees U.S. soccer as being something other than, a glorious organization to help soccer in the United States, or they see more of as a place for folks to get paid and not really worry about soccer, just do what they can to get money. I think this could be a beacon for those kind of folks. Now, are those folks going to be the ones who vote? I don't know. We've yet to see. Again, it's a little bit over a week until the people vote. Who knows? And I'm sure when we do get a new president, I'll make a comment on it. Until then, you can email me at simonallensoccer@yahoo.com, simonallen@yahoo.com, and tell me what you think. I've enjoyed this particular show because, A, it's kind of been a two-parter. I want you to email me and tell me what you think of the new show coming up, Bangers and Match, with Harry Tack and Alexi C. I want you to email me regardless and tell me what you think about Hope Solo, Dundee United, David Beckham, Zlatan coming to LA. Let me know. Because without you, I'm simply talking to thin air. So email me at simonallensoccer@yahoo.com. I want to do a big shout out to all my friends out there, all the listeners out there. Thank you ever so much for making me essentially get up in the morning every day, read articles, watch a bunch of, I would have watched them anyway, but watch a bunch of soccer matches, and get up and really think about what I'm going to talk about. Again, simply without, I can't do it without you. So thank you for all these years. I want to do a big shout out to all my relatives in England, my mum, my brother in New York, and to Christopher Reardon in Moscow. We're going to be doing a new be doing a new show, new episode of The Bitter Truth real soon. So look out for that. And that's really it. I can't think of anything else to say that other than it ain't tricking if you got it. Let's just cue some music and enjoy the rest of the week. All right, peace. Bye-bye.